Hello, fight fans, and welcome to the Combat Challenge podcast. Today's guest is the winner of IMMAF Worlds Champions 2016, a brave Combat Federation athlete with an impressive pro record of 7 wins and only 2 defeats, and his amateur record where he had 11 fights and 0 defeats. Mr. Shoaib the Assassin Yousef. Assalamu alaikum, Shoaib.
Wa alaikum salam, brother.
Thank you so much for making time to be with us today, brother. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me on.
You were one of the brothers I was thinking about that I want brother Shoaib on because, you know, I like the way you fight, brother, so I needed you on there, my friend.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
One of the things I ask everyone that comes on, especially those that have a fight name, where did the fight name, The Assassin, come from? If you can talk us through that and let myself and the viewers know about that.
Basically, do you know Mick Sinclair?
Yeah, the Sinclair brothers.
Yeah, so I think they were just talking and they went, oh, your name is going to be The Silent Assassin. Because I'm not very good at talking. So it just went from there. I think the first 2 fights, they introduced me as Silent Assassin. And from there, it just went to The Assassin.
But that name does suit you because you're not the sort of person that talks a lot of crap about people. Do you know what I mean? And you kind of just keep it in the cage, right?
Yeah, so from Silent Assassin, just from there, just The Assassin. I was just like, yeah, it's all right. Just go with it.
But that's good. Maybe you started talking a bit more. Do you know what I mean? Maybe you
so
people out. I don't know.
Maybe.
I'm always interested, and so the viewers, about the martial artist MMA journey. Can you kind of talk us through that from a young age, how you got into martial arts and what different disciplines led you to where you are today?
Yeah, so the first martial art started with jiu-jitsu. So my father put me in, my uncle used to do it. And he put me in so I like stay focused, don't mess around outside. And so I started that really when I was about 6 years old.
6?
And so, so all our life, like we've been watching UFC and like boxing just since I was a kid. So from jiu-jitsu, I think I started Thai boxing when I was around 13 years old. But I've always had that interest for MMA, just because I've been watching it since I was younger, UFC. And from there, really just went into MMA. So I think I had my first amateur fight when I was 17.
And the jiu-jitsu, Shoaib, who was that with? What gym was it with?
So it was just a local club, just like families around my house. And it was the Japanese jiu-jitsu, so it wasn't Brazilian jiu-jitsu. From there, it just led into Thai boxing, then boxing, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and then MMA. So it's just like one after the other, really.
And in your family, Shoaib, who was the person that was kind of interested in that sort of stuff before you? Because being 6 years old, somebody must have kind of guided you.
Yeah, so my uncle my dad's brother used to do jiu-jitsu. And then it's just like it's been an interest in our family. Like my dad always watches boxing, UFC. Like it's always been like sports they've always been interested in sports. So he didn't like put me in to make me become a fighter, just like be able to defend myself and like somewhere just to focus on.
And it must be cool for your pops and your uncle to see where you are now. You know, even though their intention wasn't for you to compete, I'm sure they're very proud of your achievements today, right?
Yeah, alhamdulillah, because no one expected it, because I've always been like a quiet kid. Like so it's alhamdulillah, they're very proud of me.
Well, they would be, of course, you know, because you were 6 years old. You just got into jiu-jitsu and they didn't think that you'd end up where you are now. And especially if they're into UFC and MMA, which is cool.
Yeah. So like we've been watching UFC since I remember, like it's crazy.
The gym that you started off with, just like a local jiu-jitsu gym.
Yeah.
But who are you affiliated to now and who are your coaches that you train with specifically?
So now at the moment I've joined up with the Manchester top team. So do you know Carl Prince? So I'm affiliated with them, but I train local a bit here and there. Muscle Factory, Burnley, Mick and Rob Sinclair. So and then I sometimes fly out abroad. So I've got all stars now as well in Sweden. So I cannot.
Is that Gustafsson?
Yeah, so Gustafsson, Hamza, Chimaev, and all them.
Yeah, I've heard of that dude. Yeah. Oh, I saw a clip. I saw someone on social media. Did you go and train with him there?
Yeah. So I went there after my last fight, for a couple of weeks.
And how was that experience?
It was good. It was good. Like it's just different. Because I've been in Thailand before. I've been to some other good gyms, but Sweden I like it because around the corner from us.
And how did that come about then, that you ended up going to train over there in Sweden?
Yeah, so basically, the person, my last opponent, he trained there. He trained there for his last fight. So after the fight, like his manager and the coaches went, look, you're more than welcome whenever you want, come. So I went, why not? We did a lockdown in UK, so I just went there for a couple of weeks.
Oh, nice, man. The lockdown's a bit more relaxed in Sweden, right?
Yeah, it didn't feel like no corona, no lockdown, nothing. Is everyone just carrying on with their business.
I've got to ask, Brother Shoaib, did you do any sparring with Chimaev or with Gustafsson?
No, Gustafsson popped in a few times, but he went training, and Chimaev is like the lightweights and above one side, and then But
Right.
I was watching him sparring and wrestling and all that. Mashallah, he's a beast.
Good, man. Good. Well, he's made his name in the UFC so suddenly, wasn't it?
Yeah. But like he deserves it. He works hard, and like they were saying, he stayed in the gym there for like 3 years. Sleeping in the gym. So obviously, he deserves it all.
What, so living in the gym as well?
Yeah, so he's just living in the gym for about three years. When he first started training at All Stars, he's like just training, sleep, train, sleep for 3 years.
Wow, that's some dedication, and
Yeah.
now he's reaping the rewards because he dedicated 3 years of his life to literally just sleep, eat, train in the gym.
Yeah.
The other thing is, Shoaib, you first came to notice, especially for me, was once in 2016 when you won the IMMAF Championships. And now I'm not going to spoil it. I'd like you to tell the story of how that came about and the people that you compete, because there was somebody you competed against every day for 5 days, right?
Yeah.
All right, so talk us through that story.
Yeah, my manager just messaged me saying, look, I didn't really know what IMMAF was. So he just said, oh, there's some tryouts in Leicester for like a World Championship amateurs. So I just thought, yeah, go down. So went down, did the tryouts, and then my manager rang me saying that you've been chosen to represent the UK. I mean,
what sort of stuff did you have to do in the tryout, Shoaib?
There's a few people, so we just had to spar, grapple, hit pads, and then like they just choose whoever they think is the best, like at each weight. I think they chose like 1 or 2 people from each weight. So then he messaged me saying, "Oh, you've been chosen." So I was like, "Oh, I better start training now." It was in Ramadan, so I obviously I didn't fast when I was fighting, but whilst I was training, I was still fasting. So looking back at it now, it's like Allah obviously helped me, but Alhamdulillah, it was hard.
So talk me through each day, like, who you compete against and what you knew about that person and how the fight went.
Yeah, so just like a day before is they pick you out, out of like a hat or something. So my first opponent was like a Norwegian guy from Norway. So it's like you don't have much time to like watch his fights, and so my first fight I fought him, but in the fight I broke my right knuckle in the first fight. Yeah, so I messed both my knuckles up, but my right hand one I broke it. So that was like from there, because you're fighting every day, I had to like change my tactics. I had to start wrestling and all that.
So how did the first fight end?
Yeah, I won by knockout in the 3rd round.
Oh, beautiful. And the second person that you competed against?
The second fight I fought someone from Portugal, and I won that submission in the 2nd round, I think. I won that by submission. Then the third guy he was very good from Tajikistan. He just fought on Dana White's Contender Series a couple of weeks ago, and so I fought him in the 3rd round. I won that by decision. In the 4th, I fought Connor Hitchens from UK. So I won that. So it's like teammate versus teammate. And then because there was us 2 in the semi-final and 2 Irish, so they wanted like an England versus Ireland final. So I had to fight him. And then the last fight, I fought Irish guy. So it was 5 fights in 6 days. So a day before the final, you have like a rest.
Well, you did well there, brother. You did well,
Yeah.
man. And how was that experience for you?
Oh, it was an amazing experience because it was a UFC 5 week. Do you know that week? So they had like the UFC Expo. I think DC was meant to be fighting John Jones. So it's just like a crazy buzz, and we were fighting like in middle of the expo. You know, so it was a very good experience, very good experience. Because you have injuries and you have to make weight every day, so it was difficult.
Yeah, because I remember seeing a photo of you on social media on the podium, right? And having like these olives, these leaves around like a crowd. I was thinking, who's this dude? Who's
Yeah, they put that straight after when I felt like taking it off, but I couldn't.
No, but what I'm saying is that kind of got you noticed. You know, I'm sure there were thousands of others like me thinking, oh, who's this young lad? You know, how's he come about? And then, mashallah, that kind of got you noticed and got you propelled to where you are now, right?
Yeah, because that's like the Olympics of MMA. And like, after that fight, the Russian ACB was a big promotion. So I had my debut straight from there onto that ACB. Yeah, so alhamdulillah, it was good.
Who was that fight against that you did at ACB, and how did that go?
It was against the Irish, Dennis Ahan, Irish guys. I won armbar in the first round.
And where at ACB, which country are they based in?
Now they're just in Russia, but at that time they were like going all over, like all over the world basically. Yeah.
Well, talking about fights that you've competed in, because I did a bit of research on you, Brother Shoaib, and one of the fights was the fight that you had with Hassan Talal.
Yeah.
And I was so impressed because right in the beginning, when the takedowns that you did, especially the one where he kicked you and you kind of gripped it, but then you did like a pendulum with him and slammed him straight into the cage. Yeah. Can you talk me through that fight and what was the build up to it and what was the end result?
Yeah, so basically that fight, I was meant to be fighting local, but my opponent pulled out. So I was like, so I stopped. I had about 2-3 days off, and my manager rang me and went, "Oh, Brave want to sign you." Like Brave, I've always been interested, but it's like I've never. It's just one of them. Just keep it. So he went in Saudi Arabia in 4 weeks. Do you want to fight? So I said yeah, and so when I researched this opponent, he's like a knockout artist. So he's every fight he's like touching him and knocking them all out. So my plan was to mix it up, wrestle, don't strike, wrestle. So, but alhamdulillah, it was. I think it was a very, very good fight for me. That
it was. I mean, he wanted to stay stood up, and you were able to take the takedown, and you got him down a couple of times. And at one stage, you had like the leg locks around his legs. And that reminded me a bit of a Khabib sort of technique, you know, where you kind of lock the legs and you keep him next to the cage to stop him from bringing his feet up and his knees out, right?
Yeah. Yes, it's just watching Khabib. But they were like when you're in a fight, it just comes like natural. So alhamdulillah, just everything was just flowing good for me in the fight.
It's like you were on autopilot. And then the ending, you know, you're not doing yourself any credit here because Shoaib, mashallah, the ending was awesome where you ended up getting was like a bit of a body triangle and then got the rear naked choke.
Yeah. So yeah, I finished that fight by rear naked choke, yeah.
But it wasn't just, you know, you caught him with a couple of strikes as well because he was just bleeding all over.
Yeah.
So, man, good job, brother. Good job, man. Good job. Your last fight, you talk about Brave Combat Federation. The last fight was against, is it Mohammed Muchaiev? If you can talk me through how that fight came about and then the fight itself.
Yeah. So with that, obviously we were in a lockdown. So it was basically the whole world was in a lockdown. So I was meant to be fighting a Brazilian, Gabriel Fly. So I think that was in February or something. But it's just on, off, you know, they're changing countries. And so basically, like I think I fought Muchaiev in August. So since February, it's just on, off, fights being cancelled. They keep changing the shows. But then in August, it's just like I had enough. Like I just wanted like a little break. So then like 3 weeks, a month before the fight, 3 weeks before this Muchaiev, my manager, I'm like, oh, do you want to fight? I was like, even in 3 weeks, so I was like, I don't know if I should take him. I'll get cancelled. I didn't really know. Then you look main event against Muchaiev. He's one of like the biggest prospect in the world as well. So I thought I can't say no to that, a main event. So I just thought that just take the fight.
So what did you know about Muchaiev, as in his fighting, discipline and what he was superior at?
Yeah.
So how did the fight go through?
Yeah. So we've got like a lot of mutual friends. So when I was in Thailand training, I know a lot of his friends and they know me quite well, but I didn't come across him. I think he was in like a different gym or something. But I knew him. I've heard of him, and obviously when I watched him, I knew that this guy's very, very, very good. He's 10-11 I know now, and so I knew obviously I have to be on my A game, and but I just thought it's a good opportunity for me. Brave main event. I couldn't say no. So I'll try to fight whoever they say. I'll just try to fight.
And just talk me through the fight. How did it go and how did it end? Just talk us through that.
Yeah. So he won a decision. Muchaiev. He won it was a 3-round, and he basically controlled me with his wrestling.
So he had more control on the ground, and he was using his wrestling to prevent you from striking, right?
Yeah. Which is part of the game.
Also, my brother, I've seen on social media that you've been training at Amir Khan's gym.
Yeah.
So how did that come about, and what sort of stuff were you doing there?
So basically, like a mutual friend of his and mine, I think Amir Khan was doing they've always said, look, come have like a session, come train. So I thought, why not? So it was just at that time, and we went there just hear a bit of pads. And it was a good little experience. Got to meet Amir Khan.
And was it just a bit of boxing training you did there?
Yeah, just a bit. So I just had with the coaches at the gym, just hit some pads with them. So it's just like a little break the ass kind of with Amir Khan. Got to meet him and all that.
And it's good to have that relationship, and hopefully that door's always open for you if you need to do some specific hands training. It's there, right?
Yeah, 100%. So they said you're welcome whenever you want to come and train. So.
And it's good to mix it up now for yourself, Brother Shoaib. During this lockdown period, how are you keeping yourself busy with training? What sort of stuff are you doing to keeping yourself active?
At the moment, it's hard, because all the gyms are shut, and because we do MMA, our main training is we need training partners, grappling, sparring, but it's quite difficult. But alhamdulillah, at the moment, I got like a little gym at home, some bags, or just ticking along, just doing whatever. But it's difficult, especially for us, because we need sparring and wrestling and grappling, and obviously we can't mix more than 2-3 people, so it's hard. So if I'm fighting, I'm ready.
Well, that's what you need. You just try to keep there, don't you, so that it keep ticking over. So when the time's there, you can get back onto it. Once all this pandemic and everything's out of the way, what's your plans moving forward? Are you thinking of training abroad or what?
Yeah, so now, so after this fight, I had a bit of issues, with my last team, and so now, alhamdulillah, whilst I'm in UK, I've got Manchester top team, Carl Prince. I've got local, the gym I train at, there's Rob, Mick, and we got a few good lads here, and inshallah, the plan is when I've got a fight, I'll just fly out to All Stars, Sweden. But at the moment, we stuck because we can't travel.
Sinclair brothers, you mentioned Mick and Rob Sinclair. I messaged Rob yesterday, and hopefully he's going to come on the podcast, and he'll see this. And Rob, you got to make sure you reply to that message and come on the podcast. It's a really cool. Is it Muscle? What's it called?
Muscle Factory, in Burnley. Muscle Factory.
Has Buddy Khan got something to do with it?
Yeah, that's the one, Buddy Khan. Yeah, so it's Buddy owns the gym, and there's a few of us good guys, and so we've got that local, just 5 minutes away from us. So that's another big help.
Mashallah, on social media, I see some really good work that they do at that gym. Not just the fitness side, but also charity work and helping people out, right?
Yeah, so alhamdulillah, the charity work, they help a lot of people, like local athletes, like me, myself, a few others, and it's just like a family feel. Everyone knows everyone, and they do a lot of work as well.
Well, it's really important to have that click in the gym. You know, you got to feel comfortable, and you otherwise you feel like you can't be yourself, and then you don't fit in, right?
Yeah, yeah, 100%. So whoever walks into that gym, they they all feel welcome.
How long has that gym been going? Has it been going a while? And have the Sinclair brothers always been there?
Yeah, so Buddy opened that gym. Buddy and Tariq opened the gym. It was a couple of years. It's been about, I'd say, about 8 years. So it's just like a weights gym. So then from there, like Mick and Rob used to come teach like once a week, twice a week. Now he's got like a weights section and a separate room with like a cage, mats. So it's like a proper MMA. And Rob teaches, Mick teaches. They've got a boxing coach, Wes. So it's doing very, very well.
Now, at the time, Buddy might have opened it as a wage gym, but he's evolved as well, innit? I'm sure I've seen him fight. Has he not fought MMA himself?
Yeah, so Buddy had a few fights as well, yeah. So there's like a few of us. There's quite a lot of people from that gym that have had fights.
And he looks ready as well, does Buddy, doesn't he?
Buddy's always ready. Buddy's always ready.
Well, Shoaib, listen, Jazakallah, I really, really appreciate you taking the time out to have this podcast with us. The plan is moving forward that the next time you compete, we'll have another podcast to talk about that fight and your plans moving on from there so that viewers get to know a little bit about you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for having me on.
Shoaib, inshallah, I'll catch up with you soon, my brother. Okay.
Inshallah, brother.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Khuda Hafiz.